Today I fully completed Roguecraft. From getting all the advancements to finding all the secrets this Datapack has to offer, I have done it all. And without further ado, grab some snacks, stay hydrated, thank you so much for watching in the first place, and enjoy the video. Before I start, I should mention I updated the Datapack to the newest version, which runs on the 1.21.6 version of Minecraft. This means there should now be happy gas and all that stuff. As you can see, the lecterns have been replaced with these info points, the skill gem texture was changed to look more like XP orbs, and the bow was nerfed to a max power of 5 instead of 7. However, the dragon's health was also decreased. Also, when updating, I ran into some issues, amongst which all my upgrades had been reset and parts of the shop were broken. However, together with the support, I was able to use commands to restore all my progress and fix other texture issues. One last thing, I also changed my in-game name. Well then, what's the plan? As mentioned in the beginning, I want to get all the advancements done, and that is not as easy as just buying every upgrade in the shop. These range from getting 500 skill points in a single run, over clearing a run in under 15 minutes, to finding the smallest creature to exist and getting all the vanilla advancements. Of course, this includes how did we get here. Yep, I've got my work cut out for me. Since some advancements require very rare items or a lot of preparation, this will be a massive challenge. After only 2 hours within a run, my health will be down to 6 hearts, meaning the longer I spend on a single run, the more dangerous it gets, increasing the risk of dying and losing all my progress on certain advancements. Anyways, let's get started. Just kidding, one final thing before I get to hunting all those advancements. With my last video, I reached 1000 subscribers. This is a big milestone in my journey, and I want to thank each and every one of you. This truly means a lot to me, so a massive thank you to all of you. Now, let's get into the video. For this first run, I want to work on 2 things. Getting lots of skill points to buy a bunch of upgrades that will help me get advancements faster, and resources for a bedrock breaker. You'll see why in just a second. Let's go mining for a bit so I can craft skill points later. Oh, a deep dark. Let me get a bunch of levels. Quick side note here, I probably won't show every single vanilla advancement, I'll leave out the boring ones like this. Certain advancements used to be reset when starting a new run, but that was fixed. Also, some vanilla advancements were removed as they are unobtainable within this data pack, but more on that later. Let's start smelting some of the gold while I collect some more levels and ores. Damn, that's 200 skill points already. From here on, it will be much harder though, as getting more XP will take increasingly more time with every level, but I think this should suffice for now. Let's just go beat the game for a few more skill points. Oh, and this is new. What is that? Oh, that's really cool. They added entrances to trial chambers. Anyways, let's not get too distracted. And here's the stronghold, which looks completely different. The portal seems deactivated. What is this? Can I kill it? Oh, there's mobs spawning. Nothing I can't handle though. There's more over here. And oh, the mob essence from zombies is exhausted. At least higher tier essence. Mob essence could also be used for skill points, but returns less for the same amount of skill gems. Holy moly, this guy spawned right in my face. That scared the living crap out of me. I still don't know what this is. Oh, what's this? Ah, I see. I need to kill every mob. There we go. Now I can put in the eyes and fight the dragon. Since I am pretty overpowered, this should be easy. Yeah, that doesn't mean stupidity can kill me. Anyways, let's buy a bunch of upgrades. The drill ability is pretty useful for getting diamonds and gold for skill points, so let's max it out, as well as mana regen and max mana. Also, more damage, looting 5, 64 planks, a god apple, 5 gaps, level 2 bucket, which is just a water bucket instead of an empty one, more magic strength, max out parry and equip it, then jump boost 3, efficiency 7, punch 3, unlock the glass cannon class, more entity reach and step height. Does this mean I can now step a full block? Okay, buddy, what are you doing there? Yeah, look at that. I can step up an entire block now. Let's retrieve our items. Alright, let's help the sniffer out. Yeah, so he just wandered around the corner. He's fine. He's fine. He's fine. Let's dump this in here. Next up, I need to die. As in here in the Infinite Garden, where I have resistance 5, meaning I can't die. But there is a way. During this last run, I got the resources for a bedrock breaker for a reason. I hope falling into the void can kill me. I'm not sure though. First, I need to find a better spot since I don't have that much TNT. Okay, this looks promising. I need another trapdoor, unless I am super fast. Turns out I am in fact not super fast. Alright, I'm back with another trapdoor. Yeah, I kinda messed up there. I only have TNT for one more attempt. There we go. And let's die. I did it! Broken immortality. I am not sure whether this is the intended way, since bedrock breaking technically is a glitch. Anyways, all that's left in the Infinite Garden tab is Gastropolis, which requires a God Apple. I just bought that upgrade earlier, so all I need is another run and I'm good. Now it's time for the 500 skill point run. That should get me all the remaining upgrades as well. Doing this any later when I have all the upgrades already would be meaningless, as I wouldn't be able to spend the skill points. So the plan to get this many skill points seems pretty straightforward. For the crafting, I need 400 diamonds and 400 gold, which is actually the easy part and why I upgraded the drill to level 3. The bottleneck, however, is skill gems. I need 100 of them, or in other words, achieve level 100. This is very time consuming without a mob farm, so let's build an enderman farm after I beat the dragon. The run will only end once I destroy the dragon egg, so no pressure there. Long story short, gather resources for the farm, get 400 diamonds and gold each, defeat the dragon and farm levels. Simple, right? Anyways, here I go. While smelting the gold, I also attempted to parry 20 consecutive times for another advancement, but I was unsuccessful. Alright, all that's left is to defeat the dragon and build the farm. Goodbye wildfire, goodbye stronghold, and goodbye dragon. I found that during the wave phase, spamming parry against the piglets and brutes would make this advancement pretty easy. Anyways, let's build the farm. Okay, that was unexpected. Let me try again. Maybe a few blocks higher up. Nope, it keeps teleporting me back. So what if I build up here? Okay, so how do I get to the end islands for the elytra and stuff? Well, remember when I mentioned earlier some advancements were removed? Yeah, so almost all end advancements have been removed, as you can't even go to the end islands. I didn't even realize this for a while, so I was confused for quite some time as to how to get any of these advancements. Anyways, let's build the farm right here, and I hope it still works. Yeah, it doesn't. Not sure why. Could be that they found a way to disable mob farms, or it just doesn't work this high up. I don't want to give up this run and try to come up with something else, so let's just farm them manually, I guess. After a while, I thought to build a roof at the center where the endermen can't get to me, and also spawn proof the outer area of the island with water. Then I need to look at the endermen and farm them this way. Since I also got a few skill points from bosses and other stuff, I only needed 92 levels. If I had chosen the Reaper class, this would go by much faster with its overpowered class skill. At least I thought so at first. It wasn't until quite a bit into farming them that I realized the tank class has a secondary ability, Aggravate. This is a taunt skill, forcing all enemies within range to attack me. This would massively speed up getting to level 92. Choosing the tank class was a blessing in disguise, and after only 90 minutes I was done. Don't get me wrong, this was still a long time for a boring task like this, but at last I can reap my reward. There we go. I also tried a few times to get damaged 15 times during a single shield cast, but for some reason it didn't work. Now I can finally end this run that lasted 3.5 hours. Now let's get all the upgrades I can. Piercing 4, Multi-Shot 2, Soul Speed 3, Thorns 5, Entity Reach 5, Block Reach 6.5, Step Height 2.1, Speed 5, Magic Strength 15, a bed, Mage class, Healer class, Hunter class, Explosion 3, Pulse Sphere 3, Arrow Shockwave 3, Fireball 3, Shock Ball 3, Copy 3, Levitate 3, and Dirt Walker 2. Guess that wasn't quite enough yet. Well, all that's left is the 3rd level for Dirt Walker and all 3 levels for Liquid Walker. Then I have all the upgrades granting me the 100% advancement. But of course, I'm not gonna stop there and not only get the 1000% advancement, but also the 10,000% advancement. This one requires to get all advancement in this data pack, including the vanilla ones. Interestingly enough, I got another advancement when I retrieved my items. This one requires to tame a dog in a run, which I had done before, but was locked behind the 500 skill point advancement advancement. Let's also eat a god apple for Gastropolis. Now the infinite garden is done, so is progression. In Roguecraft, I still have a few left to do, and of course the hardest ones are the challenges. Half of these I don't even know what to do, but we'll get to them later. Let's focus on the easier ones first. The next one I want to try is the speedrun, beating the game in under 30 minutes or before reaching difficulty 5. One of the challenges requires a run under 15 minutes or before difficulty 3. Of course, it would be great if I could get both in the same run, but under 15 minutes seems really hard. So I watched the world record speedrun and tried the same strategy. Mage class with the abilities Levitate, Drill, Fireball and Explosion. Let's give it a shot. The first step is to find a lava pool. In this attempt, I was pretty unlucky and didn't find one until 7 minutes into the run, so the sub 15 minutes is out of the question. After defeating the wildfire, I left the nether at under 16 minutes. Clearing the stronghold and fighting the dragon was all that was left, but the time was ticking away. I fought through all the waves and dealt as much damage as I could to the dragon. The explosion ability deals the most damage by far, but it is also very dangerous as it deals damage to the player as well. Sadly, I was careless and I died. Still, I'd say that was a pretty solid attempt at the speedrun advancement. For the world record though, I would need to be much faster. I bought Liquid Walker 1 and maxed out Dirt Walker, leaving me with only 2 more upgrades. This next run went much better. As I spawned in, there was a portal already from a previous run. I couldn't hope for a better spawn. The fortress was quite a few blocks away. Using the drill ability, however, I was able to find it rather quickly and defeated the wildfire. I rushed back and cleared the stronghold with the fireball ability. I entered the end in just under 7 minutes. Using Levitate and Explosion to deal massive amounts of damage was definitely the way to go, as I could just completely ignore the crystals. I cleared one wave after the other. This time I made use of my gaps and the god apple to regenerate much faster. I floated towards the dragon and activated one final explosion, defeating her. I destroyed the egg and claimed both the speedrun and world record advancement. But that's not all. I also bought the final upgrades, granting me the 100% advancement as well. That was a pretty lucky run, but hey, I ain't complaining. The next run is a bit of a throwaway run, simply getting 2 quick advancements. Avatar, for which you need to activate Dirt Walker, Liquid Walker and Levitate, and Instant Delivery, simply parrying a gas fireball. Let's end the run here. The last one to get for the 1000% is Disparate Scratch. I need to get hit 15 times during a single invulnerable shield, which is the class ability of the tank. Since this didn't work earlier, but I thought I was hit 15 times during that time, I put it off for now. I guess it's time for the challenges. Apocalypse, reach difficulty 20, which is a 2-hour, 22.5-minute run. The run earlier with 500 skill points was well beyond that, but since I defeated the dragon, the difficulty stopped increasing. 100% vanilla, get all vanilla advancements. Then Little Guy, 1 above mortality and instant regret. I have no idea what to do. They seem like secrets I need to find or something. And at last, 10,000%, get all the advancements. The only 2 I can work on are difficulty 20 and all vanilla advancements. So let's start a new run focusing on the vanilla advancements, and if the run continues for long enough, I'll also get Apocalypse. Here's a lush cave, meaning I can get some axolotl advancements. Yoink. I happened to run into a mansion I had been to already as well. Luckily, there was still 1 evoker left for the totem. However, I made the discovery that they didn't drop any totems. This left me confused for a while. Anyways, let's leave that for future me to figure out. There's a sparse jungle, and here's the rusty wolf. I don't have a weakness potion for you, my friend. Oh wow, there's a brown panda. I don't think I've ever seen one. There's a second panda. Let's breed them for the 2x2 advancement. Let's also help the axolotl fight a mob. What is this orange cat behavior? Anyways, here's both a guardian and an elder guardian for monsters hunted. He still doesn't want to give me the advancement. Oh, he died. I mean, he's fine. He's in a better place. Gone, but never forgotten. Anyways, I found this treasure map with no treasure. Also, here's the woods wolf. I don't want to go to the nether now. I'll do those advancements later. Let's put a goat in a boat. Here's another trial chamber. I don't have my axe for wax off and lighten up, and the paxel doesn't work for this. Oh, perfect. There's an axe. Wait, what? Where did it go? Yeah, so this is a new feature where any gear you pick up gets consumed and upgrades your starter gear. Let's say you have iron tools and you come across a diamond axe. It'll get consumed and upgrade your axe to diamond, keeping your current enchantments. If it's lower tier or has worse enchantments, it'll turn into XP instead. Anyways, at first I thought it just bugged out and the axe vanished into the back rooms. Let's just grab this for later, fight off these mobs and open a vault, use a wind charge, grab this, craft it into ingots and back into a block to unwax it, and use the honeycomb. From these pots, I was able to get 4 pottery shards as well. Oh, there's a pale garden. This is my first time seeing it myself, but I'll have to wait for nighttime. In the meantime, I grabbed a crossbow from this pillager outpost, or so I thought. It got consumed because of my bow. At this point, I was even more confused as to how I am meant to get the 4 crossbow advancements. Picking one up from a pillager didn't seem to work either. Maybe you can craft it instead? Anyways, let's head back to the pale garden for the creaking. There it is. Here's the creaking checked off as well, which leaves me with only 2 mobs left to kill, the witch and the zoglin. Anyways, with some resin and pale oak, I can craft a creaking heart, place it like so, and get another advancement. Since there's a meadow biome and I held on to the music disc from the trial chamber, I looked for a diamond, made a jukebox and played some tunes. Okay, that's enough. Then I found out I cannot craft an enchanting table, which made the enchanter advancement impossible to get, at least for now. Then here's Be Our Guest. Running around for a while, I also found the chestnut wolf, 3 out of 9 wolves tamed. As you can see, the crossbow is also not craftable. Now, I truly have no idea how to get one, since it's clearly needed for 4 advancements. Being a bit careless, I blew up. I forgot I had such a short fuse time. Not sure whether that's a vanilla thing or a Roguecraft thing. Anyways, during this run, I also bred a few animals for 2x2. In addition to the pandas, I bred chickens, sheep, cows, wolves and pigs. And I ate a bunch of different foods for a balanced diet. These are melon, cookie, raw cod, cooked cod, dried kelp, raw salmon, cooked salmon, pumpkin pie, suspicious stew, honey, raw rabbit, cooked rabbit, baked potato, glowberry, raw mutton, carrot, rotten flesh, beef, raw chicken, raw pork chop, spider eye, mushroom stew and sweet berries. This leaves us with only 7 foods left. Yeah, I made lots of progress this run. At this point, I realized most advancements in the end were removed since you can't go to the end islands. However, this advancement requires a spire armor trim, which can only be found in an end city. The more advancements I got, the more I was worried I wouldn't be able to achieve what I set out to do, simply because some advancements were unobtainable. Anyways, let's shift our attention and continue hunting for advancements. Using this downgrade, I can revert upgrades. This is necessary for a few advancements. Light as a rabbit requires leather boots, and Isn't It Iron Pick needs iron tools. I also got rid of thorns for now. And here it is. I also started using the Dirt Walker, which is super helpful for traversing land very safely and quickly. This pillager outpost has a lace, so let's focus on that. Here's our cake, that's one advancement, and here's the other. There's an armadillo, which I need for wolf armor. Let's make a brush, scrape off his shell, and craft the armor. Since I have an ominous bottle and there's a trial chamber, let's try to get a mace. Anyways, before I forget, let's quickly do this. Then slurp this and fight through all the mobs. And that's another one down. I accidentally also got this one. Guess I won't need a snowy biome anymore. Here's our first ominous vault, and certainly not our last. Anyways, here's the rarest enchantment. Fortunately, I won't need it for any advancement. Here's the sniper duel, and then I tried my hand at the bullseye. Okay, let's just cheese it. Don't you sneak up on me. There we go. Here's our first little kitty. Look at that reaction speed. Yeah, I don't want to talk about it. Finally, a mangrove swamp. I needed this biome not only for adventuring time, but also the frogs. While I was waiting for the frog spawn to hatch, I brought a frog to the nether and got my first Roguelite. Without my netherite armor, the knockback of these guys is insane. Oh wow, that's surprising. For once you're actually useful. I was looking for this. And the tadpoles finally hatched. While I was preparing for Star Trader, I also tamed the calico cat. Now let's go to space. I almost messed that up. Come on, take the job already. There we go. Now you die. Anyways, here's the one brain cell cat. Then I found a spot where I can let the tadpoles grow up into frogs. A temperate biome next to a cold biome. This would give me the 2 remaining variants as well. Slowly, my health is depleting and my leather armor only gives me that much protection. I really don't want to mess this up until I have the frog advancements done. So I played it safe and started fishing for a pufferfish. Anyways, here's the pale wolf, some armor for you, commit some war crime, repair the armor and remove it. Now let's find a magma cube I can bring to the overworld for the frogs. Man, the new leashing a boat mechanic is so cool. Okay, they're finally grown up. Now I need to make sure you only eat one of them. That's one down. And the final frog advancement as well. I was really worried I might die before that happens, losing all my progress. And here's a witch killed as well, leaving me with only the zoglin. I ate my god apple and entered the mansion. Here's a vex armor trim, one of the 8 needed for this advancement. Killing this evoker still didn't give me a totem, but something entirely else. A blurple mob essence. I have no idea what this is. You also can't craft skill points with it. only as I am editing this video I found out it's just a meme item that can be eaten but isn't necessary for any advancement. There's the black cat crossed off as well as the Persian cat. Since the run had been going for over 2 hours already, the difficulty was nearing level 20. I safely walked on my dirt path looking for cats, wolves and biomes. I also used glow ink on a sign. By the way, you should definitely subscribe. Anyways, I finally got Apocalypse as well, bringing me down to a single heart. Then I saw some foxes and wanted to breed them. However, this happened. Yeah, this invisible spider was super fast and I couldn't even react. Regardless, this run was another successful one. I was able to breed donkeys, a mule, horses, armadillos, cats, frogs and goats, as well as eat a beetroot soup, a potato, rabbit stew and a puffer fish, leaving me with one final food, the poisonous potato. I then bought back some upgrades, although I didn't have enough skill points for all of them. As for biomes, there's not all too many left. Luckily, foxes spawn in the infinite garden, so I was still able to breed them, and llamas as well. As I was still confused about how to get a totem, I started a raid and maybe the Colossus boss will drop one. I was wrong, nothing again. Leaving me even more stumped, I started to smelt some iron for a golem. In the meantime, I also completed the Caves and Cliffs advancement. And here's the golem. I then tamed a jellycat and a British short-hair cat. Then there's also the Ashen Wolf. I finally started working on some nether advancements. I grabbed a netherite ingot from this bastion for a lodestone and also found the snout armor trim. I maxed out a respawn anchor. In the Sultan Valley I found a dried ghast, which I will need to place in water later. I quickly defeated the wildfire, grabbed some obsidian, walked 1,000 blocks and made a portal. This led me into a lush cave and I grabbed another axolotl and holy moly, that was a close one. Let's just head back and get some blocks for the lodestone. Man, I gotta be more careful with these charged creepers. This is when I realized they changed the recipe for the lodestone. Well, nothing's lost I guess. I placed the gas in water and then phantoms were spawning. Killing 2 of them in one shot is usually done with a crossbow. However, since I still don't know how to get one of them, I wanted to attempt this with my bow as it has piercing on it. Maybe this will work. Sadly, only a single phantom spawned, so I couldn't even test it out. I went back into the nether and grabbed a strider, brought him to the overworld, made a pool for him and wrote my 50 blocks on a strider. I also found the tabby cat. I farmed some ominous trials for a heavy core, but I had no luck. I made some weakness potions for curing a zombie villager. As you can see, it doesn't work with a bow, it has to be a crossbow. Then here's a black wolf tamed as well, leaving me with 3 more wolves and 3 cats left. Then I drank a milk bucket which removed all my effects, even the base effects I get from my upgrades. Honestly, I forgot why I did that during the run, so for the rest of this run, I am much slower and more vulnerable. I just about managed to turn a villager into zombie, but the zombie killed him before I could cure him. I decided to head for the end now. In the stronghold, I managed to trap the zombie villager and cure him. With the amethysts collected from here, I made a spyglass and entered the end. I looked at the dragon through the spyglass and collected dragon's breath. In her second phase, shulker spawn, which allowed me to get the final advancement for the end dimension. I ended the run and maxed out my armor and tools once more. In this run, I was able to breed rabbits, striders and hoglins. Now, because I found quite a few advancements that seemed impossible, I had to ask on Discord in the support for some help. They were really nice and helped me a ton. So, the enchanter advancement is simply finding an enchanted book that can be applied to any piece of gear. The crossbow replaces the bow when choosing the hunter class. The spire armor trim drops from the shulker spawning in the dragon fight. They confirmed the mace was craftable as I wasn't sure whether that's possible. The trident I still don't know for sure how to get. And finally, the totem. It is impossible to get. Totem drops were disabled at some point for some reason and now they have to fix that. Unknowingly, I caused another hotfix to be made. Sorry, monocode. Anyways, I'll worry about that later. Now, with the hunter class equipped, I have a short knife. More importantly, I now have a crossbow. Let's quickly get those 4 advancements. Also, there's a bunch of traps you can deploy, but you kind of trigger them yourself all the time. Anyways, here's one. Alright, I found an ocelot, however, I have no leads. This will make breeding them much harder. With some clever herding, I was able to get it done. There we go. Only 4 more to go. Let's look for a geode in the ocean for a spyglass. Here it is, and there's a parrot. There's the spotted wolf and the ragdoll cat. In a different village, I found the penultimate cat, the Siamese. The only one that's left is the all black cat that are always in a witch hut. They spawn in villages too, but they're much rarer than the other ones. There's another one off the list. After looting a bunch of ominous vaults, I headed for the nether to find a ghast. There we go. Now I want to kill a zoglin, meaning I need to bring a hoglin to the overworld. Since they're scared of portals, I need to light it as soon as he is inside the portal frame. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Let's loot some chests for the rip armor trim, and there we go. Next, the sniffer. Let me use my brush on the sand, and here's another advancement. And here's the sniffer egg. I do need 2 of them to breed them, however, but the breeding I can do later in the infinite garden. Then an elder garden for the tide armor trim. Next, let's get a quick and easy one and trade with a librarian for an enchantment. Okay, seems like the curse doesn't work. Let's get a different one. And here we go. Now you can see how it just applies to the gear automatically. Not sure whether I needed the anvil in my inventory or not, but I now have one anyways. And here's one phantom. Notice how I said one? Yeah. Once again, no luck getting a second one. Anyways, let's quickly loot this trial chamber and get absolutely nothing. Oh, just a little complaining seems to always work. Okay, that wasn't high enough. Here we go. Yeah, I'm speedrunning all those items and advancements, but that would soon all change. I once more tried to get the advancement with the axolotl, but it seems to not work properly. I don't know what to do differently. Anyways, I finally got 2 phantoms into a boat and messed it up. And again. There it is. Then I gathered 5 different mobs for our ballistic, but it didn't work. Probably because of the multi-shot. This time the arrow for some reason didn't pierce enough. How does it even work? I got another axolotl and he died. I farmed some potatoes and got the poisonous potato, granting me a balanced diet. I looked through village after village for the last cat. Eventually I found my very first swamp biome in this world. Seems like there is no witch hut though. Oh wait, there is one at the very edge. And here it is. Let's eat a god apple for protection. I've been going for over 2 hours and I'm hitting a bit of a wall here. Let's end it here and do some advancements in the garden first. Let's downgrade multi-shot, place those 2 down, grab their child llama, and for other mobs, okay, buddy, what? Let's try this again. What is going on? Piercing? More like barely scratching. I tried again, and finally, I did it. I also got little sniffs and bred the sniffers. Let's plant the seed for the final sniffer advancement. Let me set up a small bee house for a honey block. I'll get it later though. Anyways, let's get a bunch of axolotls. Now, this is where I started using chunk base, a web tool that helps you find stuff like biomes or structures. Here is a trail rune. They can drop 4 different armor trims, but only need the wayfinder trim. There's one, and it's the wrong one. And so is this one. Let's look for another trail rune. Here's another armor trim, and we already have that one. Okay, if it doesn't stack, it's a 50% chance, and of course it's the wrong one again. Okay, I need another trail rune. Well, there's a camel. Let's transport it very safely to this village, and that's one more off the list. And this is also the axolotl spread. Only the mushroom left. Sadly, this wooded badlands had no wolf. Here's another trail rune, and finally the trim I need. And another wooded badlands with no wolf. Ancient city, here I come. Okay, I only found the war trim, which I need as well, but I can't forget about the silence armor trim. In the next city, I found one already though. I almost forgot, the crafter. Here it is. I grabbed some obsidian and traveled to the final biome. And I also bred the final mob. These 2 took forever to do, but at last they're done. I traveled to another wooded badlands and again, nothing. This is even a huge one. In this grove biome, I found the other missing wolf, leaving me with only the striped one from a wooded badlands, but the game doesn't want to give me one. Finally, here it is. I hate this advancement so much. It caused me headaches in the hardcore series and now again. Anyways, I once again tried the axolotl thingy, but it doesn't want to do the thing. I tried taking off my armor to take damage, but nothing worked. So I ended the run there. Now I equipped the glass cannon, which takes away all defense but grants a damage buff. I used the class ability Final Adrenaline, and I died. So basically, this ability works in a quite interesting way. Activating the ability starts a timer, then you need to kill a certain number of mobs before the timer runs out, or you die instantly. During this time, you are much stronger and faster though. One of the challenges requires you to do somewhere around 10 of them in a single run. Of course, this is a dangerous ability. Oh, and I forgot, the timer gets shorter each time you use it. So yeah, it gets really hard towards the end. Each mob kill extends the timer slightly though, and the other class ability, just Adrenaline, simply sacrifices 3 hearts for strength. Okay, over there is a trident guy, but as you can see, his items get overwritten by Roguecraft once I get closer. So I still have no idea how to get a trident. Anyways, I rushed all the progression to the end and kinda overused Adrenaline. My plan was to get lots of strength, which stacks, and then kill Enderman for the instant regret advancement. However, I was super low on health and I was killed by a warden. Now the honey farm I set up earlier, let's actually collect the honey and get the advancement. Here we go. Before I continue, I need to do some research for some advancements, mainly this one. Little guy seems to be some creature you can encounter in a run. I never noticed it, don't know what it looks like apart from this icon, and I have no idea in what dimension or in what structure to look for it. I googled for any information on it, I read the changelogs, asked ChatGPT, searched through YouTube videos, scoured the files of the datapack, and the Discord was pretty pretty secretive about it. Nothing. I even tried to teleport it using commands in a creative world. Still nothing. Anyways, I also tested for a better way to get the final advancement necessary for the 1000%. Seems like a 1x1 hole with a bunch of mobs is the best option. Also, for the axolotl one, I probably never got it because I already have the regeneration effect. Since the trigger is getting regeneration from the axolotl and not recognizing an assisted kill, I downgraded it for now, which hopefully works. Lastly, the support told me the tridents are found in regular vaults from trial chambers. Any advancement now is either very hard, part of a secret, or I didn't know until now how to get them. I quickly gathered resources for the Uneasy Alliance, trapped a ghast and blew him up. It didn't work. After some struggling, I trapped another one, made a big portal and sent him on his way. And here it is. This one is always an annoying one. Well then, let's get a bunch of axolotls and during nighttime I should be able to get the advancement. I looted a trial chamber and opened vaults but had no luck for a trident. Let's unleash my army and still nothing? There we go. It is a bit of a finicky advancement. Since all I understood from the files earlier is that the little guy is a poisonous potato, so maybe he was an item and not a mob. I entered the stronghold and looted all the barrels, but nothing turned up. I killed all the shulkers and acquired the Spire armor trim, the final one I needed. I also dug a 1x1 hole, used aggravate to taunt all endermen and activated the shield, and finally I got the advancement. This also gave me the 1000% advancement, which you acquire when you get every Roguecraft advancement except the challenges. Now there was no point in the rest of the run anymore. I bought back regeneration and started my next run. Back with the glass cannon, I rushed the nether and wildfire. While I was looking around in free camp, I noticed this extra room in the stronghold. Inside is a barrel with a poisonous potato. This must be it. I found the little guy. I immediately rushed over there, cleared the room, and no, it's just a poisonous potato. I looked around the stronghold for secret rooms or chests, but again, nothing. I entered the end, fought the dragon for a bit, popped some final adrenalines, and died to the dragon. Let's try that some other time. I again picked the mage class and started another run. I opened God knows how many vaults, and at last I didn't even find it in a vault, but a chest. I checked the loot tables, but yeah, they do drop from vaults as well. I was just unlucky, but this works as well, I guess. Finally, a trident. Fortunately, I not only got a loyalty 3 enchanted book, but also a channeling one from all those vaults, meaning I can immediately enchant it and then wait for a thunderstorm. Well, here's the first of 3 advancements. Although one you could get without the trident, it's just a bit easier with it. Time to wait. After a little over an hour, I heard the thunder. Since I was on 1 heart, I ate my god apple and struck a villager. I repositioned the lightning rod and got the final thunder / trident advancement as well. This means I have all vanilla advancements except for post-mortal, which is impossible in this version, and all the advancements around how did we get here. I ended the run and once again picked the glass cannon class. Let's try this again. My plan was to get to the waves and kill all but 1 mob. This way there's no dragon, which is the only dangerous mob here. I activated final adrenaline one after the other. Pretty sure this is the last one. Yeah, my sword wasn't charged fully, meaning I didn't one-tap the enderman. I only had 1 second to kill the enderman. Here we go again, same strategy as before. However, this time I put the ability in my offhand so as to always have the sword fully charged. And at last, I did it. This was quite stressful and my heart was racing IRL as well. Little guy and 1 above mortality, I still have no idea what to do for either of them. For the 100% vanilla, all that's left is post-mortal and how did we get here? We're definitely nearing the end. I scoured the Discord once more and I came across a message saying one upgrade seems different than the others. This was the hint I needed. I looked at the Cosmic Dome and noticed something obvious but also subtle. It uses black concrete, the darkest block in the game, which is perfect for making hidden rooms. Sadly, I didn't record me finding it live, but behind the protection upgrade is a hidden room containing the golden scythe. A little further in was a lectern talking about the scythe and also a frog. I started a run with the golden scythe equipped and voila, this was one hell of a secret. I broke it to see what would happen, but nothing. I returned to the dome and had to make a decision. The post-mortal advancement is impossible, but to still be able to get the 10,000%, I decided to enable cheats for a second, granting me the advancement. I'll revoke it in the next episode when it's fixed and do it legit then. All I need now is how did we get here and find the little guy. Okay, so how did we get here? The hardest vanilla advancement advancement in the game. In Roguecraft it is even harder, since it requires quite the setup, and these 3 effects are only obtainable during a run. I won't be able to gather all the resources over the course of multiple runs and set up everything in the infinite garden. After only 2 hours I will be down to 6 hearts, meaning it will get much more dangerous, and if I die I lose all my progress and would have to restart completely. However, there are a few things that make it easier within this data pack. All these upgrades reduce the number of potions needed, and a god apple is taken care of as well. 2 upgrades stand out, however. Dolphin's Grace completely removes the need for a dolphin, which I would need to drag all the way to the setup, and the levitate ability. This way I won't need a shulker at all. Anyways, all these effects I have right from the start of the run and won't need to worry about. All of these I can get through potions, and those 6 effects I get from consumables. Mining Fatigue and Trial Omen both need a structure, but they shouldn't be too hard to find. Hero of the Village and Raid Omen have been removed as a requirement since the raid was changed to the Colossus fight. And finally, the 4 effects that really matter and make all of this much worse. Both Wither from a Wither Rose and Haste from a Beacon required to fight a Wither. For Darkness, I will need to trap a Warden or use a Shrieker setup. And for the worst of it all, Conduit Power. Getting a full Conduit within a single run is what will take up most of the time by far. The Heart of the Sea is easy, but the 8 Nautilus shells are what's the problem. Drown's inventories are overwritten by Roguecraft, so farming them is out of the question. And for a wandering trader with that exact trait to spawn is pretty unlikely. He would also only sell 5 of them. The only option left is fishing. With Luck of the Sea 3, there is a 1.9% chance to fish for a Nautilus shell times an average fishing time of 20 seconds times 8 for all the shells. We get a rough calculation of 2 hours 20 minutes of fishing. That would get me to difficulty 20, aka down to a single heart on its own. Of course, I would want to have Lure 3 and Mending on the rod as well. So the best strategy would be to get everything else first in hopefully under 2 hours, then go fishing for the shells, where I am completely safe completing the setup. Anyways, enough yapping. Let's get this started. I estimate this run to be about 5 hours long total, but you never know. I immediately found a trial chamber and entered it. Now, I won't mention the easy items I had to get because they're kind of boring, and there's plenty of stuff I need to show in this run. Very well, a trial chamber is good for 3 things. A dispenser, since I would need to give up my own bow to craft one, and I don't want to do that. Emeralds from these pots to trade for the fishing rod's enchantments, and slime balls for the oozing potion. That only works if there's a slime spawner, obviously. Sadly, there was no slime spawner in this one. I found a buried treasure, but it had no Heart of the Sea, which was pretty interesting. I also used bundles for the first time. I always thought they were kinda trash, but they seemed quite good for something like this. In the second trial chamber, I found a slime spawner. Things seemed to go pretty well up to this point. After 40 minutes, I entered the nether and grabbed everything apart from the wither skeleton skulls. I found my Heart of the Sea and a great spot for the setup. The only requirement is an ocean monument not too far from a deep dark, and that's all. Well, a trial chamber shouldn't be thousands of blocks away, but that shouldn't be too hard either. This spot here is perfect. The trial chamber is only a few hundred blocks west from here. I blocked in the Shrieker for now and stored my items here. Now I have everything except for a phantom membrane, the wither skeleton skulls, the enchanted books, and the Nautilus shells. Since it only gets more dangerous the more I put off farming wither skellies, I should do that next. Just over an hour into the run, I started slaughtering them. With my looting 5 sword, I got the first 2 skulls in less than 5 minutes. You ask, what about the third skull? Yeah, that cursed third skull. Take a guess. 30 seconds, 5 minutes, 20 minutes? An hour and 10 minutes. No, I'm not kidding. This absolute rotten luck brought me all the way to difficulty 19, down to 2 hearts. I haven't even trapped the warden yet or fought the wither. I was about to give up this run because I started thinking maybe a third skull dropped somewhere and didn't see it, and the data pack limits this to 3 per run. But no, it was just awful luck. Anyways, during this time, I did go back to the overworld briefly for a phantom membrane. I dug a tunnel for the warden and moved my items. I started building the setup and the warden trap. Unfortunately, I lost the clip of me trapping the warden, but it was a pretty easy process. I stood on the Shrieker until he spawned, and this observer clock kept the aggro off my back and lured him in. Also, I am outside of his attack range, which is 15 blocks horizontally, but I still get the darkness effect. Next, let's fight the wither. For that, I'll dig a tunnel. And I brought this pig with me for the wither rose. Let's spawn him in and make sure to eat a apple for extra safety. Alright, that went pretty smoothly. Let's craft a beacon and activate it. Okay, the scary part is done. I then focused on brewing the potions next, and then turned my attention to trading for a mending, luck of the sea 3 and lore 3 book. Safely walking on my dirt path, I traveled to a village. Although a bit expensive, I found my mending trade rather quickly. I quickly looted another trial chamber for more emeralds. I used the drill to get rid of the spawners before they could spawn anything. I slept through the night and got my lore 3 trade very quickly. After some trade resetting, I found the luck of the sea 2 trade. I bought it and had to get more emeralds. I made a fletching table, got some wood, and wanted to sleep through the thunderstorm. But in Roguecraft you can only sleep once per run, so I simply waited it out. I'm not taking any chances here. I also went a few blocks away to avoid zombies killing the luck of the sea villagers somehow. In the morning I traded sticks for emeralds and bought the final book. I safely made my way back and enchanted the fishing rod. I wanted all this done in under 2 hours. It's been 4 hours by now. Anyways, all that's left is to set up a fishing pool and start fishing. Since treasure can only be caught in a 5x5 and 2 deep pool, I made it a bit larger. Whether it needed sky access or not, I wasn't sure, but I should be safe in here. Let's see how accurate 2 hours, 20 minutes of fishing is. So that would be difficulty 50 and over halfway. Yeah, my luck has not improved since the skull incident. But you know, oddly enough, I was fine with it. The 4.5 hours I spent fishing, I was safe and I could watch some YouTube videos on the side. At long last, on difficulty 71, I can craft my conduit. And here it is. Now I can get the advancement. For that, I need to take an ominous bottle with me, go to the nearest trial chamber I found on my way here, slurp it, then head to the ocean monument, and then back here. Then make sure my hunger is low enough, throw all the potions, eat the consumables, stand in there, press the button, and activate levitation. That should give me the hardest advancement in the game. All these past 9 hours have led up to this moment. Don't mess it up now. I almost failed. First, I ate my last apple way too early. Secondly, I wanted to eat the god apple before the pufferfish, but my hunger wasn't low enough. I had to eat the pufferfish first, or the potion effects would have run out. And then I wasn't quite sure why I didn't get it after first cast of the levitation ability, but after a 9+ hour run, I simply don't care anymore. I then went mining for ores, as there is one final vanilla advancement left, Beaconator, a full beacon. With the drill ability, this only took a few minutes. When going back to the setup, I had a close encounter with a skeleton. I mined the beacon, got some more coal and smelted down the ores. I definitely have enough. Let's build it in the infinite garden and end the run here. There it is, the beautiful beacon and the 100% vanilla advancement. By the way, the calculated 424 required catches for 8 Nautilus shells were a bit off. Yeah, my luck with this run was utter trash. I still got it done and now I can go touch some grass. Yeah, imagine. Who am I kidding? Well then, I bought back the thorns, once again being fully maxed. All that's left is the little guy. No information seems to exist on this guy, and the Discord guard is secret more closely than nuclear codes. I was fine calling it quits here for this video and giving it another shot next time, but I tried one more time. With some commands in a creative world, I was able to put together a strategy to find this guy. Basically, it's a small entity that spawns in the overworld on the surface, and it can be near spawn. Since this is a bit of a random event and not guaranteed every time, it is luck based, and we saw how that went in that last run. But yeah, generally speaking, walk on the surface near spawn in maybe a 200 by 200 area and turn on hitboxes to make it easier to spot. If you found nothing, start another run. I went in once more and had a look around with free cam. This might be considered cheating, but after this last run and everything I went through on this journey, I was okay with that. My luck had turned around. I had found him. Meet the little guy. This was the single last advancement required for the 10,000%. I had done it. I returned home and put him on the beacon. This was one hell of a journey to get here. I have no words. It was an adventure for sure. As mentioned earlier, I will revoke the post-mortal advancement in the next episode and get it the legit way, as it wasn't possible in this version. However, that next episode won't be out until a new update drops. It seems to be a big one, and the developer as well as myself are very excited for this update. Very well, I hope you enjoyed the video. As always, make sure to join the Discord server if you haven't already. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel to not miss any content, and I will see you next time.